Alrighty, it's Thursday, but it's not your average Thursday. We are south of the border for the Big Bambino, the race that everyone talks about, the Baja 1000. What's going on, Justin?
What's happening?
Where are we at? What are you driving? And do you have any questions for me right now? Because I'm on top of things.
If I answer it correctly, you're going to send me a shirt?
You might get a few t-shirts.
I don't think he's going to send them. I guarantee it.
No t-shirts are coming.
Anyway, to answer your question, yeah, hold that up. That's for sure. To answer your question, we are in Ensenada, Baja, Mexico, and we are here for the Baja 1000. That actually starts tomorrow, but we've spent the last week pre-running the whole course. About 880 miles worth over 4 days or so, about 200 miles a day, and kind of completing everything that we've been able or should be put into preparation for a Baja 1000. We are actually right now, well, number one, with Jeff, my navigator, aka Speakeasy. That's Jeff, my navigator. And
hello, everyone.
We are parked right on the boardwalk in front of the Estero Beach Hotel. Estero Beach is fairly famous because there's a crew. Everybody say hi. Estero Beach is pretty famous. The reason is it's one of the most secure hotels on the water in Ensenada, and it's been around the longest. Most of the teams have stayed here for 30 years. BF Goodrich has all of their personnel here, 4 semis. Robbie Gordon, Ironman Stewart was here when he was racing. Craig Scanlon with Polaris. The Matlocks, both Kristen and Wayne. These are just to name a few, but most of the guys that are up in the top 10 of all the classes are typically staying here, and it's a great place if you guys want to come down and check out Ensenada or come down and watch the race. And it's a good place to stay. Actually, last year some of the races actually started and finished at this hotel as opposed to downtown where most of the time it's going on. Now we have COVID, so.
We got Clay Fouth, good luck, Justin. We got our man Brian Sharp, missing my dudes. And we got a ton of love coming here. Rich Fortin, good luck, guys. Kill it and bring it home.
Thank you. We're going to try the hardest we possibly can, that's for sure. It's going to get all of our effort. Speaking of effort, a lot of people ask us what goes into these races. And not to say that it's a lot is an understatement. We probably throw a couple of months of time into cars, chase trucks, and trailers, as well as pre-runners. You think it's just preparing the race car, but it's not. You're going to have to prepare all the stuff that you're going to run around in, and to ask a normal vehicle or a normal UTV to go pre-running 800 miles in 4 days is kind of a big ask. Everything's going to come apart, so you better have some good parts on it. You better have a lot of spares. You better have some survival stuff and a lot of extra fuel, because a lot of the sections that you have to run will go for 120 miles, 130 miles of really nasty terrain without a gas station in sight. Maybe even 240 miles without a gas station in sight. You better have a truck there ready to help you out. So there's a lot that goes into it. If you guys have any questions on the prep, then let us know. But in the meantime, so Jeff, I'm just going to ask you, let's pretend that you are a lot like some of the people that are watching this video right now, and you have never been here, and you've never seen the terrain that's here, but you've got a UTV and you go around, I don't know, Phoenix, you go around California or Oklahoma, and you see all the normal stuff that everybody's running through in Johnson Valley or Glamis. How would you describe what you saw as far as our pre-run is concerned on those 800 miles?
So I would say the terrain here down in Baja, if you took maybe Johnson Valley, like King of the Hammer stuff, or maybe like sections of Parker, and multiply that times 10, that's probably Baja racing. The terrain is pretty incredible down here, and pretty much anything gets thrown at you. Anything from running down the beach on flatlands to areas where bulldozers have recently just bladed through areas to make a course. It's crazy. It's just so much terrain differences here, and the challenges are incredible.
Jeff, we got a question that I'm going to have you answer from Vinyl Wrap Installer. Do you use an IV bag or just drink some Tecate to pregame to hydrate?
Oh, plenty of Tecate to pregame. But all kidding aside, we actually have a water water system on the race car that we both feed off of, and at pit stops the crew will refill our water system, but it's like a 2-gallon water tank that we have on the race car, and throughout the race we both remind each other constantly to keep drinking, so it's constantly done throughout the entire race.
Alrighty.
I actually have more to add on the terrain end of things. So I was trying to ask Jeff to pretend that he's never seen the terrain and tell people what it's like. But we actually have a newbie right here. This is Jason. He's part of the team here, and he has never seen this side of Baja. Actually, it's your second trip to Mexico.
Yeah, the first one was San Felipe.
And also, you have never seen the Baja 1000 course. You've never pre-run any of it.
No, so the first course I've ever raced on would be the 1000, and it was pretty cool to pre-run it. So,
what would you say, as someone who's never seen it and never done it, what would be the thing you would describe that people don't understand about this course?
When people say it's rough, it's rough. Like, everybody says they can do 100 miles, 200 miles in a road trip in the desert, but when you come here, it's brutal.
Like, very hard to do that kind of mileage.
It is. You get out of the car and roll out, and you're just laying on the ground hurting.
I guess that's pretty rough. I know there's a lot of sections that we see on videos. The only thing you ever see on videos pretty much are like fast whoops, 100-mile-an-hour stuff, and there's only about, what, 20% of the whole course might be that. Everything else is 15 to 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, through the mountains, over rocks. You're rock crawling, dragging skid plates, and it's rough.
How many times do you think your light flashed before your hands driving in a pre-runner?
I'd probably say a couple times.
Was it cliff stuff or just completely walking it
No,
up?
we hit a tree once. Couple rocks, but yeah, other than that, we didn't go off any cliffs like Darren and Shane.
Thelma and Louise, actually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your nicknames?
Just Shane's was Betty White. I didn't have one.
No, I thought it was Thelma and Louise over there, and then it was Lady and the Tramp.
I know who the Tramp is.
Yeah. I'll be the Tramp. It's okay.
We got a question here from J Hups 24 that I feel like you could answer here, Jason. Were you able to pre-run the whole course?
We did a majority of it. We stopped at 750.
Yeah, we had to stop at 750 and couldn't get from 750 to 800 for fuel reasons, but we pretty much saw the rest of the course. We also had about a 20-mile section in San Felipe between 600 and 640 that we weren't able to do. That's about it. Most of that stuff I've seen before, so we felt pretty confident not having to go through that.
We got one more question here. McCurdy Outdoors, what's your average speed throughout the course? And we got to know your speed too, Jason.
Well, pre-runs are a lot slower because you're stopping a lot, and I wouldn't count those speeds, but most of the 1000 speeds in our class are hovering between 39 and 44 miles an hour average for a 1000. This last Baja 500 was pretty quick. I think we averaged 52 miles an hour. So it just depends on the terrain they run you through. Some of the stuff at this 1000 is so slow and technical that you're doing 5 to 15 miles an hour. You might as well be in low gear, low range, just crawling stuff for 20 miles straight. So this is going to be a very slow race as far as previous 1000s are compared.
Now, if that's his average speed.
Mine was a little slower because the section I drove was getting dark, and it was super rough on the first day. So I think I drove from 130 to a race mile 250. And it was up in the mountains, and you're going real slow trying to
A lot of rock, a lot of river rock, a lot of sharp rock on top of river rock.
Try not to blow tires or break the car, so we took it a little easy. Darren was my eyes, so I couldn't really see, so I trusted him a lot.
That's scary.
Hey, Darren, you want to come over too?
It's pretty scary.
I got a question that keeps coming up. Hey Style 72.
Thank you, Jason.
And we also had something that was very similar from Rich Fortin. What physical training do you guys have to do, if any, before the race? Not just the car. We're talking about that physical stuff. Physical.
So I would like to say that I do a lot of working out and eat right, but I don't do as much working out as I should, and I definitely don't eat right lately. But what I like to do is a lot of driving. So, like, even just driving down here, everybody was like, or around town, you know, you sure you want to drive? Well, I kind of prefer to drive 12 hours a day and kind of work up to it. So on the pre-run, there's no break. I feel like more time in the car is probably the best training for me. I'm not sure about you, Jeff, but besides that, we also hydrate for a couple of days beforehand.
I think it's a huge attrition race, we could say, and I'd say mentally you're doing a lot of mental training all year long dealing with me, Justin. See, this is what I'm here for.
Mental
I'm just taking jabs at you all day. That way when you get in the car, you're just flawless like that.
Yeah. Here's Darren. Darren's a team manager, and very good. Hold that up a little bit.
All right, we good?
Yeah, exactly like that. So describe your pre-run a little bit, and remember, a lot of people haven't seen any of this stuff.
Oh, the pre-run this year was treacherous. I've seen this several times now, and it's never the same. I mean, even the sections you go through them the second time, the third time, and it's not the same. There's a rain rut. It rained somewhere.
Or they run it backwards and tear it up.
Backwards, or you never can tell. I mean, that's part of the fun of it, is the mystique of actually seeing what actually happens. When you come back, you're like, oh, I remember this place, and you're like, no, this is completely tore up from last time, which is way cool. But it was pretty treacherous this year, which I really liked a lot.
How many live flashes did you have?
Well, we had one really good one on a 500-foot cliff that me and Louise went over. Almost. We stopped about 6 inches from death, but which I thought was pretty wild. I mean, Justin was following behind us, and he was telling me to keep the pace up, so I thought he was right behind me, and he wasn't. We had enough time to go scream woo, throw the car in reverse, and get the hell out of there before anybody's seen what happened. So we beat the devil and Justin on that one.
No problem. I think that's really cool, wild, Thelma.
Yeah. We were going to hold hands over the edge if we had that much time to decide.
You guys got any questions there?
Left R23 has a question that you could definitely answer, Darren. What brake setup do you use on the car?
We use streamline brakes on the car. We use their stainless steel rotors. We're using stock calipers on the car. We're using hard brake lines, stock master cylinders. You don't want to use anything else. That's the
there's a bunch of masters. There's a bunch of brake kits on the market, and they don't really have the performance that you would expect. The stock caliper, stock master, is probably the best working system. If you can get a larger diameter rotor in it and hard brake lines, this car with 33s will lock the tires up on the street. So it's all you need.
Blue Line Raptor, do you guys ever accidentally run into any cartel activity while pre-running, or do they stay clear of the events? No, Are you paying anyone off to kick it, Darren? What's going on?
Never had to pay anybody off. I've had to deal with some federales once or twice. But no, we've never seen any cartels. We've seen some yuccas and
we saw
knocked them over.
Bosom trees.
Some trees,
The Bosom gang.
The Bosom gang, yeah. I've started moving vanilla from Mexico to Phoenix, so I'm starting my own, perhaps.
Get a little Underground Railroad?
Underground Railroad for Cheetos and vanilla. That's a request for back home.
Was that last year that you got almost stopped by the guy on the horse with the machete, Justin, the Cavanero?
It was a couple years ago, but we were running the pre-run, and the guy didn't want anybody running through his property anymore, so he shut the gate. We were stuck at the gate, and there's supposedly no guns in Mexico. I think the only people that have them are the criminals, but besides, that's another story. This guy was on his horse with a machete in his hand, and he had chiseled the machete into like a sawtooth shape, and he's waving it everywhere. He swears he was going to cut us up if we even tried to cross his fence line, so we had to turn around and skip the pre-run.
I mean, who wouldn't do the same if people were racing through their driveway?
Well, if it was Thelma coming through my property, I definitely would shoot him.
Or at least run him off the road with your horse, one of the two.
Yeah, for sure.
You got choices.
What was your favorite part of this pre-run?
Oh man, every time I say it, it's all of it. It's always all of it. There's so many things to see, the people, the food, the camaraderie. I mean, all the teams, and you get out in the middle of the desert and everybody's your friend. I mean, you just run into people and you make friends for life in most cases.
I thought for sure you were going to say holding hands and running into the water.
Well, the Sandy Socks and San Felipe.
Yeah.
Stop and ask Manny when you're there about that, and he'll make sure you get your picture on the wall.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That is a fact.
All right, what else you got, Chase?
Let's see here. We got any trophy trucks still left by Mike's Sky Ranch from last year's 1000?
Still, I don't know. We didn't end up going through Mike's. We didn't end up going through Mike's this trip. The course skips it, so we weren't able to see that. I doubt if there's anything resembling a trophy truck at Mike's a year later.
Now, there's somebody that we definitely got to talk to, and he is kind of like, I don't know, if we had a body part on the race car, I don't know what he would be. Probably the backbone of it. The man behind it all, the wiring, who keeps us all connected
Tony
and so positive. Tony, we want to know, What's your size? What do you do on the I know all that. The good. What's your job description here at Shock Therapy Off-Road Racing, and what did you do to this car here before the months prior to?
My name's Tony, and I'm the main race mechanic for Shock Therapy Off-Road Racing. And on the car, we went through everything. We made sure that the hubs and drive plates were not cracked. Went through the front diff, the rear hubs, went through the shocks, went through sway bar, greased all the Zerk fittings, oil change on engine, trans, front diff, spark plugs, you name it. Everything on this car has been touched. So,
Tony, what's your favorite part of prep? I know it's kind of a lot of anguish and anxiety for you, probably, because we're constantly coming at you with new ideas and saying that stuff needs to be redone.
Right.
Obviously, always hours, weeks ahead of time. What's your favorite part of prepping the car? What do you like to do the most?
Honestly, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to say when it's finished is when it's probably my favorite part.
This is awesome. Tony, you were on the pre-run as well. What was your favorite part of the pre-run?
Man, if I had to say, Upper San Felipe, Lower San Felipe was my favorite. A lot of the single track stuff by the beach was by far my favorite, and the endless tacos is definitely one of them.
Who were you driving with, and what were you driving? And I want to know, how many times did that car get rolled over? You don't got to lie to kick it, Tony.
Right. Well, I got my main man over here, Dom. He was an awesome navigator, and showed me where to not roll over, but we didn't roll over once. Came close.
Wow,
But,
that's good.
Tony, what's your nickname on the pre-run?
Boner? Oh, is that the other one? No.
How did we get this nickname, Tony?
Which nickname?
The Boner.
Oh, I don't know. I thought what everybody called me, so.
I heard something about the Honda doing nose wheelies.
Yeah, what is it? I'm not privy to this, so.
Yeah, that's a secret nickname. Nobody's told Tony about it yet.
All right.
So.
Guess it in the comments down below, and we'll fill you in if you're right.
Cool. What else have you guys got you want to talk about?
We got Chapo Racing in the building.
Ernesto, how's it going, man? How was your pre-run? Tell everybody a little bit about it. If you could sum up the whole course from another racer who just finished the pre-run, what would you say in like 2 or 3 words?
Hey, we got a good question here you could help us answer, Tony, before we let you go. And Jeff, I need you to take the microphone right after him because you are our expert in the field. Mike Dubs, screw talking about pre-running and let's talk about tacos. You had me at tacos,
The important
Mr.
part.
Dubs. What's your favorite taco stand so far in Baja if you could only have one stand to go to?
Tacos El Poblano.
Which is?
Right outside the gate.
Yep, right outside of Estero.
All right.
Well,
literally down
now
the street.
everybody knows about it, and there are going to be so many people there we'll never get a taco.
Yeah. Thanks, Tony.
With
Yeah.
that being said, let's hand the microphone back to our taco expert. Now, Jeff, go a little
Thanks,
bit
Tony.
further into details about the different types of taco genres down the border. Give us kind of your top 3.
Probably number one tacos, as Tony just said, was the place right outside the gate here. I'm not going to say the name again. Second favorite for me is
TP.
Yeah, there you go. Second one is down in Valley Teeth. They got a great taco stand there.
Oh yeah. Get me excited, Jeff. Stop talking.
And then probably San Felipe's got some great tacos too. So that'd be my 1, 2, and 3.
All right, you heard the man. If you want to know about tacos, there's only one man to taco to, and that is Jeff.
All right, enough tacos. Let's wrap this up so we can actually maybe go get some of our own.
This is very
What do you
true. We got one last from Mike Doves. What light bar are you guys using?
Baja Designs, only lights made that you should be running.
Alrighty, you guys. Well, we got a race to attend to. If you guys would like to follow the boys live tomorrow, what time are we leaving the line?
Probably around 11 o'clock. The reason we don't know exactly is because it just depends on when they start the trophy trucks and how many cars in all those classes are ahead of us. But somewhere around 11.
I figured it out. We should be offline at 10:52 unless there's any late registrations that aren't on the list right now. So.
All right, so 10:50 to 11 o'clock. If you guys sign on to the STORR website, they'll have a live tracking on there you can look at, and type in our car number 2927, and you can follow us throughout the race, or everybody else in the class too.
And make sure you guys follow the boys at Shock Therapy Off-Road Racing on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll be coming up with some badass race recaps in the next couple weeks. Everything from the UTV World Championships, Blue Water Desert Challenge, and of course we'll go over this Baja 1000. If you guys would like to purchase any of the UTV Shock Therapy products, go to our website, www.shocktherapist.com. If you need to get us a call at the shop, do so at 623-217-4959, and make sure you tune in tomorrow at score-international.com. to follow the boys live during the race.